What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jesse. This is Cadillac Rod and Customs. Last time you seen me, I had picked up the buggy and I gave you a decent walk around on it, and it's been on my trailer ever since. It's literally sat on my trailer for 9 days. 10 days. Sorry, 10 days. Because, I worked on it a little bit while it was on the trailer, and honestly, I'm just tired of stepping up on the trailer over the straps to work on it. And plus, I was waiting for one of the vehicles in my yard to leave. Once that left, I was able to get the buggy off the trailer, so that's what I did, and it was kind of a mess because, as I told you before, there's no brake lines, there's no drive shafts. It does have steering, but offloading it was not too bad, but it wasn't a great time either. I found out the hard way that the passenger front caliper was locked up, and I'm sure it's just because the buggy's been sitting for so long, and then when I bought it, the guy literally just picked it up with a crane and carried it to where he put the 42s back on it, and then we just used the same crane to pick it up and set it on my trailer. So the tires have not rolled in who knows how many years. So I'm pretty sure it was just because the rotor was stuck on the brake pads, because it rolls now. I drug it about halfway off my trailer with a come along, and then that passenger front finally broke free, and I was able to get it the rest of the way off. I damn near killed my neighbor's fence. I was hoping that this video was going to be a let's get the motor started and listen to it run kind of thing, but I initially was told it was a 351, and that was a lie. Because I got an intake for a 351, and I wasn't smart enough to do any measuring. I just kind of took him at his word that it was a 351. So I tore it all apart. I broke 2 studs. The gaskets were a shit show to get off, but got it all done, got the new gaskets in place. I went to set the intake on, and it's 2 1/4 inches too wide. It is not a 351, it's a 302. And the difference between those two, width-wise, 351's just over 11, and a 302 is like 9 1/4. So there's a huge difference there. And now I don't have an intake. So we're kind of back to square one with the motor, and I've moved on to another project since then. I've got to, I don't know, decide whether I'm going to actually use this 302 or not, because at this point I can't find one. Like, the local junkyard had a ton of 351 stuff but no 302 stuff, and I'm not really sure that I want to spend the money on a brand new intake because I don't know how well the motor runs. So I don't want to spend a bunch of money to just have to pull the motor anyway. So now I'm trying to decide whether it's worth keeping. Plus, less than 10 feet away from where I'm standing, I have an LS on a stand that I know runs incredibly well, that I just put fresh gaskets in and fresh paint. It's got a brand new set of headers. And do I want to put it in the buggy or not? I don't know. So that's where we're at. I can't decide whether I'm going to use the 302 or LS swap it or just go find a junkyard small block Chevy. I don't know. But until I figure that out, I got bigger fish to fry. I got more important shit to do, like trying to make the damn thing stop. So here, right there, I'm fairly sure I have all of the hard lines I'm going to need. I do still need to get 4, 5 soft lines, but that's it. I have the caliper hoses. I have the T's, like the rubber hose to the T on the axle, and now I have all these. So my plan is, from my master cylinder to my line lock, which I'm going to use as my emergency brake, from there out and down the firewall will be hardlined in 1/4 inch, then a flex hose, and then another 1/4 inch hose, line, whatever, across the top of the link to the flex hose on the T, and then I'll run 3/16 lines across the axles to the calipers. Let's get all these unraveled, these fancy reusable zip ties here and see what we got. Now I know I probably should have just bought a roll of brake line and a big pack of fittings and just done this shit myself. But you know what? Every time I've tried to flare a brake line, it always ends up screwed up somehow. My flares end up crooked, or the inside's not right, or something always happens, and I don't know why. And the last time I tried to do brake lines, my brake line flaring tool took flight somewhere up the street, and I'm not gonna go buy another one just to piss myself off again. So this is the dummy-proof solution, and I think this is going to work out better anyway, especially now because all of these have a part number. So if anything happens, a fitting breaks, one of these lines catches on something, whatever, I can just go to the parts store. These are all on the shelf products. These are all in stock, and they're a couple of bucks a piece. I'm just going to keep it this way. Keep it simple, stupid is a really good way to live. I swear, every time I try to work on this damn thing, the weather goes to shit. It's raining currently, but as you can see, it's off the trailer. Now I need to take these big bastards off because I don't want them just sitting out here in the elements. So I have some rollers off my Cummins that I'm putting on here, just, for reasons. Anyway, I conditioned these seats when I got it home. Man, these things are still really, really nice. Having this thing topped up for all these years did a lot of good. Fixed the transmission because I don't know if I told you or not, but it was stuck in gear. So whenever they pulled the shifter out to stab it in, it must have been in gear when they put it back in because the rails were offset. So all I did was pop the tower out, took a screwdriver and popped them back into line, into neutral, and I've got all 4 gears and reverse. Right now, my belly height is 15.5 inches. And I've got 2 inches of chrome shown on the shocks. And ride height on these things is supposedly best between 20 and 24 inches. So I plan on having this around 22. So when I get it lifted up around ride height, I may have to reposition my upper mounts back a little ways and forward a little ways. But we'll conquer that bridge when we get there. Also, we'll be looking for drive shafts soon. Don't worry about that height. I'll adjust the links when I get it up around ride height to correct for the pinion angle. But if anybody knows of any good drive shaft places that are affordable, because I'm not looking to spend $300, $400, $500 on a single drive shaft for this thing because I don't even know if I'm going to keep it, and I'm not going to beat it hard enough to destroy a drive shaft. So if you know where I can find a set of junkyard drive shafts that'll fit this, or somewhere that can build me a set for reasonable, let me know. Also, now that all the wiring shit is out of the way, you can see that the motor, though it is dirty and crusty, it's not really greasy, like oily. It's in pretty good shape. And this is just sitting on there to cover the hole for now, until I find an intake for it. If the weather cooperates, which it doesn't look like it's going to, but if it does, I'm going to start on the brake lines today. So, wish me luck, guys. Also, sorry, I'm kind of rambling, and I'm all over the place, but if anybody has any damn clue how to get this clutch hooked up, I'm open to suggestions because I'm fresh out of ideas. Here's my bell housing and shit. I've been told I can use a hydraulic clutch, but I don't really know if I could, and I don't have enough space next to the master anywhere to mount one. So if any one of you guys has a damn clue how to make this work, please tell me, because I have been beating my head against the wall for about 2 weeks now, trying to figure out how I'm going to make this clutch work, and I can't come up with nothing. And I know everybody just says, well, go find a C6. Sure, I could, but this thing still has 410 gears in the axles as far as I know. I haven't pulled the covers yet, but it doesn't look like the covers have been off these axles yet. And stock, these things came with 410s. So having this granny low 4-speed is the only chance I have of turning 42-inch tires for now. Alrighty, guys. Well, day 2 on this brake line Fiesta here. I'm trying to find my tubing cutter here. This is my tubing cutter. What I do, just have some 1/4-inch fuel line, and I'll cut it up into like 1-inch sections or 1.5-inch sections, and that's how I'm going to secure my brake lines to my links. I know, like, the right way you're supposed to cut some little tabs and like weld them in and all that shit. I just take some brake line and split it right down the center so it opens, wrap it around the brake line, and put a zip line or a zip tie around it, and that's it. That's how I've been doing it that way for years, and I've never had a problem. So until I have a problem, I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, honestly, the only problem I've ever had doing it this way is my zip ties have dry rotted or broke off or whatever, you know. But okay, if I remember right, the front port there is for the rear brakes, and the rear port is for the front brakes. But I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be. So what I got to do is come out of there and go back, around the booster and then down. So let's do that one first. And there's kind of how it's going to ride. I need to turn it a little bit more, but these are temporary. I'll get some higher quality ties, but you kind of get the gist. This is going to be more like that, so it's pointed almost right at the axle tube. Let's see. That. I may bend it just a little bit more, but I don't think anything's going to come in contact with it right there. This one I'm pretty happy with. This I'm not. I'll probably end up replacing this line just because I don't like that one. But progress, fellas. Alright, guys, day 3. I got from the master clear to the bottom of the tub done. They were tucked up nice and all that shit, and then I realized I don't have a proportioning valve. So I had to go buy 2 new pieces. One of them, because this has a bigger fitting here. Come on, man. There we go. A bigger fitting on the back. So I had to go find the line with that fitting on it anyway. But my proportioning valve will sit somewhere in this area, and then when that shows up, I'll run the lines down. But anyway, the rear is almost done. So I have a hard line that will run along the bottom of the tub here. Then I'll put a flex line from there down to here. Here's my hard line. Comes in here. Flex hose. The T used to sit on this side, but I moved it. Just anyway. So I've got 3/16 on the axle. And it goes up and across. And then down here to the front. And my caliper fitting is right there. I'm not sure if it's a good plan or not to have my fitting between the links, but the way I figure it, both of these 2 things are stationary. I mean, they're going to pivot, but they're not going to move. So I think right there's a pretty safe place to put that. On the other side, not nearly as pretty, but I'm not completely finished yet. I'm probably going to come back and flatten this one out and kind of make a radius out of this one so it follows nicely. but it does the same thing. Runs along the back of the tube. My caliper fitting is My caliper fitting is on the inside of the link on this side, just because that hose was a couple inches short. But that's fine, because I'll just run my caliper line will come around the shock here and just drop right in. I don't really, it might be long enough to come underneath the link and make the connection, but if it is, I'll straighten that bend out a little bit. Now, got to tackle the front. In the front, I have my calipers mounted and everything, so this one shouldn't be as challenging to figure out. I have all kinds of room for activities. I would love to run them along, just right along the top of the tube, but again, bump stops, I can't. So we're gonna, same process, run them behind the housing, all that stuff. So I'll come back when I get the front axle done and show you. Okay, and we're back. Line's tied to the link. Connection's made there. Still need to build the bracket that holds the T in place off of that bolt right there, but runs all the way down. Caliper connection in the same place as on the rear. This one goes all the way down across the backside, comes up behind the bump stop, which I'm going to finagle that line a little bit and bring it over some more. There we go, bring it over some more, because it clears this metal tab and everything, but not by much. So I'm going to finagle it that way just a little bit. But front brake lines are done, boys. All right, guys, so there you have it. Buggy has brake lines, most of the brake lines. I need to order the proportioning valve and the brackets for the rear axle so I can mount the calipers, and then I will have complete brake lines from front to rear. Then, you know, bleed them and all that fun shit. But maybe by then I can find me a set of drive shafts and an intake. So we're getting close. Chipping things off the list as we go and making progress. That's all that matters, right? Thanks for sticking around, guys. Sorry this video wasn't more exciting, but you know, I just wanted to focus in and get them done. But if you've stuck around this long, I appreciate you, and if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that. And remember, guys, your dreams don't work unless you do.